Director Jonathan Glazer. You probably know him for his utterly chilling masterpiece, The Zone of Interest. Or maybe for his utterly chilling masterpiece, Under the Skin. Or his Oscar speech that made a bunch of weirdos lose their minds. He's made 4 great, fascinating films, but my favorite thing he's made will probably always be this.
And it's a word that man can eat at all. When things are big that should be small.
The music video for Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai. For younger viewers who only know this clip from a Family Guy parody or TikTok trend, Jamiroquai was a funk band from England who also did the song from the dance scene in Napoleon Dynamite. But Virtual Insanity was undeniably their cultural peak, and that's largely due to the incredible video directed by Glazer. In 1997, back when these things actually kind of mattered, it won the MTV Video Music Award for Video of the Year, and the key visual in the video, singer J.K., yes, that is his name, appearing to slide across the floor, was so iconic that they recreated it for live performances. Glazer had been making great music videos for several years. My favorite earlier one is probably Street Spirit Fade Out by Radiohead. But Virtual Insanity is the one that made him a household name among a very specific subset of people. It had this beautifully simple visual hook, something instantly recognizable that no one had ever seen before. At the time, my family didn't even get MTV, so before I saw it, I remember just hearing kids in school talking about it. Hey, have you seen that video with the guy sliding around the room? Remember, these were simpler times. People had no idea that Heelys were just a few years away, and that soon, sliding around Virtual Insanity style would become child's play. My family got cable in 1999, and so I finally got to watch MTV during the tail end of the golden age of music videos, when you could turn on the TV and randomly stumble across Spike Jonze's video for Praise You by Fatboy Slim, and then read in Entertainment Weekly that, hey, the guy who directed that video made a movie. Because there was a time when music videos meant something, when they had real budgets and played on TV, and they were full of cool shit, like Biggie Smalls outrunning a fleet of helicopters in a speedboat, or the Smashing Pumpkins inserted into Georges Méliès's film A Trip to the Moon, or like the Backstreet Boys as mummies and werewolves. And if you were cool and definitely not a nerd, you learned the directors of those videos from the little text boxes in the lower left corner, because some of those directors went on to make movies. People like David Fincher, Michael Bay, Antoine Fuqua, Spike Jonze, Michel Gondry, Jonathan Glazer, Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris, Mark Romanek, Francis Lawrence, Zack Snyder, and also Simon West, who isn't an especially good director, but who did make both Con Air and the music video for Never Gonna Give You Up. Seriously, the same guy is responsible for this GIF and Rickrolling, making him maybe the most influential out of the whole bunch. But this rarely happens anymore. Sure, music videos still exist, but how much do they really matter anymore? Are they still a necessary part of music promotion, or just an outdated tradition? And the big question, are they still a launching pad for exciting feature film directors? Other than, the Daniels who we will talk about, obviously. The early history of music videos is kind of messy. We could be here all day debating what actually counts as the first music video. Short clips of musical performances have existed since the earliest days of cinema, even when they didn't even have recorded sound in the clips. I mean, hell, even this film made by the Edison Company in 1894 of a flexing strongman, you could argue is a proto-music video. And then there are musical movies, which have countless sequences that, if removed from the context of the larger film, essentially resemble music videos. The early Beatles films directed by Richard Lester contained sequences that set the style for what we think of as the modern music video, with musical performances with people lip-syncing to a pre-recorded pop song, cross-cut with another narrative. This iconic video for Subterranean Homesick Blues by Bob Dylan looks like a music video, and it's uploaded to the official Bob Dylan YouTube channel like it's a music video, but it's not technically a music video. It's actually the opening sequence to D.A. Pennebaker's 1967 documentary, Don't Look Back. What we think of as music videos mostly started to exist in the 1960s, due to TV shows like Top of the Pops in the UK, which counted down the most popular pop songs of the moment with musical performances. Since artists could not always be available to perform live on short notice, the record company started producing promotional clips of songs that could be easily played on TV. Many of these pop promos, as they were often called, were simply straightforward clips of the artists performing the songs, without the narrative elements or stylized imagery that we're used to. And while they became increasingly common, it still wasn't standard protocol to make a pop promo for every pop single. Many people credit the video for Bohemian Rhapsody for changing this. It's still largely a performance video, but it prominently features this imagery.
Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see.
Sorry about that. I mean this imagery, which is more striking and abstract and instantly iconic than videos had seen before. The Guardian wrote that this, quote, ensured videos would henceforth be a mandatory tool in the marketing of music. And they were correct. In the 1970s, music countdown shows finally reached Australia, and since they needed their own pre-filmed pop promos, they turned to a newsreel editor who worked at the network. His name was Russell Mulcahy. Mulcahy made dozens of music videos for Australian artists like AC/DC, soon quitting his regular editing job to do this full-time. The guy basically created the industry for music videos in Australia, and then moved to the UK to direct for even bigger artists. A major turning point came in 1981, when the music cable channel Sight on Sound was rebranded and relaunched as MTV, the first ever TV channel to play music around the clock, and the very first video ever played on MTV was Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, directed by Russell Mulcahy. And fun fact, that video features a young Hans Zimmer playing the keyboards. Look, see, there he is. Isn't he adorable? So there was now a major network playing music videos 24/7, and this would change videos and pop culture forever. As the medium exploded in popularity, new directors emerged to dominate the field, like Steve Barron, who made Billie Jean, Africa, Take on Me, and Money for Nothing, Mary Lambert, who made Material Girl, Like a Virgin, and Control, or Jean-Baptiste Mondino, who made The Boys of Summer and Justify My Love. The videos quickly evolved from the charmingly lo-fi and simple clips of the 70s into far more visually ambitious works of art. Mulcahy's video for Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran is a Raiders of the Lost Ark homage shot in Sri Lanka. In Take on Me, Barron created a short film that blended live action, animation, and comic books, and still holds up 40 years later. and Lambert's video for Material Girl is an immaculate recreation of the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend number in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, featuring actor Keith Carradine, and most importantly, let's be clear about this, features Alexander Knox himself, the legend that is Robert Wuhl. Even some major movie directors tried their hand at music videos. Tobe Hooper directed Dancing with Myself by Billy Idol, Bob Rafelson directed All Night Long by Lionel Richie, and Brian De Palma himself directed Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen. Now, this phenomenon was really led by Michael Jackson. Jackson was becoming a major solo artist right at the dawn of MTV, and he understood better than almost anyone the potential power in this new medium. He was determined to make this young art form something taken seriously as real cinema, and so, starting in 1983, Jackson would often hire major Hollywood filmmakers to direct his videos. John Landis directed Thriller and Black or White, Remember the Time was directed by John Singleton, and for Bad, he got Martin Scorsese to direct a whole musical short film set in the Hoyt-Skirmerhorn subway station. These videos from Jackson often ran 9 to nearly 20 minutes in length, and were really more short films than traditional music videos. With their extensive group dance numbers, they drew heavily from classic Hollywood musicals. Bad is inspired by Cool in West Side Story, while Smooth Criminal is inspired by The Girl Hunt Ballet in The Bandwagon. In 1983, MTV started the annual Video Music Awards, hosted by major stars like Dan Aykroyd, Bette Midler, and Eddie Murphy, which further helped legitimize the medium and, for the first time on TV, brought attention to the directors. And around this time, the first music video directors started making the jump to feature films. The real pioneer here, even though he was exclusively working in Sweden and didn't cross over to Hollywood until the 90s, was Lasse Hallström. He started directing the early pop promos in the 60s, then went on to direct the music videos for literally every ABBA single, before making 1977's ABBA the Movie. And from there, he became Sweden's biggest director since Ingmar Bergman. Russell Mulcahy, the biggest music video director at the time on MTV, first made Razorback, an Australian horror movie about a killer wild boar, but his Hollywood debut, Highlander, in 1986, is kind of the perfect outcome for a music video director moving to feature films. It's a very silly action fantasy movie that really needs to be executed with a ton of style if it's gonna work at all. And looking at it, yeah, you can see this is obviously the work of the man who directed the video for Total Eclipse of the Heart, a video full of ridiculous yet awesome theatrics. Highlander is a movie where every scene is backlit with wind and fog machines cranked up. The camera is always moving dramatically or at some crazy angle. Most of the lighting choices just come down to, it looks cool. Why are those rooms randomly lit with red lights? It looks cool. And of course, pop music is a major part of the film as it features 8 songs by Queen. Following Mulcahy, Mary Lambert was meant to make her film debut with Prince's Under the Cherry Moon, until Prince did a classic Prince move and fired her after 4 days of filming. She made her directing debut a year later with Siesta, followed a couple years after that by her most famous movie, her adaptation of Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Steve Barron made his debut with the 1984 sci-fi comedy Electric Dreams, written by the guy with my favorite name in the world, Rusty Lemirande, and he then teamed up with Jim Henson for his show The Storyteller, which led to Barron's best-known film, the live-action 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a movie that could have easily been terrible, but turned out to be shockingly well made, with a real sense of style and inventive visuals, as well as a skillful use of complex special effects. Music videos were proving to be a good launching pad for stylish genre film directors, but this was just the beginning. The golden age was about to begin. And on that note, I gotta get up and stretch my legs. This is uncomfortable. Ugh. Propaganda Films, founded in 1986 when producers Steve Golan and Joni Sivitson recruited music video directors Nigel Dick, Dominic Senna, and David Fincher to found a production company dedicated to music videos. The idea here was to identify talented filmmakers from a variety of places. Like Spike Jonze, he was discovered from his skating videos, and then incubate these guys. Because of the huge demand for music videos and record labels pouring tons of money into them, the filmmakers had endless opportunities to experiment and learn and develop their skills with other companies footing the bill. Hell yeah. With Fincher cranking out iconic music videos for Madonna, or Dominic Senna doing Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation, Propaganda quickly built a reputation for making the best videos in the industry. By 1990, Propaganda produced nearly a third of all music videos being made in the US. And these videos looked so incredible that then the advertising industry wanted a piece. So Propaganda expanded into commercials. If you ever wonder why so many commercials in the 90s looked fucking awesome, it's because Fincher and Michael Bay and Spike Jonze and Gore Verbinski were the ones directing them. The closest analogy for the impact Propaganda had was the wave of British commercial directors who came to Hollywood in the late 70s and early 80s, like Ridley and Tony Scott, Adrian Lyne, and Alan Parker. Directors who, as Ridley often brings up in interviews, directed thousands of TV ads before they ever made a movie. So they were masterful visual stylists, the best in the world at making things look slick and glossy and cool as hell, and they had clocked in so many thousands of hours on set that they could comfortably make the transition to major Hollywood movies. Propaganda provided a similar but more public training ground for these directors. David Fincher was obviously always very talented, but he did not arrive immediately as the Fincher we all know. His earlier videos for Rick Springfield in 1984 are fun and they've got a lot of style, but then you skip ahead 5 years and 36 videos later, and you get to Madonna's Express Yourself. And there you see a filmmaker in full control of his powers. These are artists working at the highest level of the form. Looking at a Mark Romanek video like Closer for 9 Inch Nails, with its grainy, nightmarish torture dungeon, or Criminal for Fiona Apple that feels like you're voyeuristically creeping at a teen party, it's easy to forget these are essentially ads designed to sell pop music. This was an insane time where incredible artists were being given massive resources to basically make a bunch of crazy experimental short films. The output of 90s music videos, especially from the Propaganda directors, is this spectacular explosion of creativity. Honestly, I'll say it. It's not that far off from 70s New Hollywood. Reading about Propaganda, the place sounds incredible. The company's headquarters were in a large hangar, and the stable of directors, about 45 of them, worked out of the space. So in one building, people like Spike Jonze, David Fincher, Michael Bay, or Antoine Fuqua were there working, chatting, and sharing ideas. Personally, I like to imagine that Spike Jonze was like the weird guy who skated to work every day, who everyone kind of talked about behind his back. As Maximilian Potter wrote in a 1998 profile on the company, Propaganda has become a kind of boot camp for promising young filmmakers. Since 1990, at least a half dozen of the company's directors have made the jump directly from Budweiser Frogs and Coolio videos to big-budget films. While directors like Mulcahy and Lambert had made the jump to movies before, Propaganda perfected the pipeline. The company even started producing movies as well. Some came from the Propaganda stable of directors, like Dominic Senna's California, spelled with a K, or Fincher's The Game, but they even produced movies like David Lynch's Wild at Heart and the horror classic Candyman. In most cases, we sign people, they do music videos for 2 years, 2 months, it just depends on what happens, Propaganda chairman Steve Golan explains. Then eventually, they move into commercials. They get a commercial reel together, and then we start sending them out to studios and producers and try to get them a movie directing job. In contrast to the stereotypical route into Hollywood, scraping together an indie film and getting discovered at Sundance, Propaganda has refined an alternate path. After a few years on Propaganda's assembly line, the firm's directors can arrive at a studio's door with technical experience few independent directors can match. New angle. For most filmmakers, making a massive franchise blockbuster like Alien 3 as your first film would seem insane. But for Fincher, that was a natural transition after years of training on videos and commercials. At the time of its production, his video for Madonna's Express Yourself was the most expensive video ever made. A 5-minute video that cost $5 million, which would be $13 million in today's money. So he was used to big budgets, a lot of VFX, huge crews and sets, and handling massive stars. Similarly, when Simon West made a massive blockbuster like Con Air as his very first film, he was actually prepared for it. As the 90s went on, more and more propaganda directors successfully transitioned to movies. Alex Proyas made The Crow and Dark City, Gore Verbinski made Mouse Hunt, and in the 2000s, of course, would make some of the biggest blockbusters of the century. Antoine Fuqua, best known for videos like Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise, made the jump to movies with the 1998 action film The Replacement Killers, and then went on to become one of Hollywood's most prolific filmmakers, with the Oscar-winning Training Day, the Equalizer franchise, and coming this year, he has made Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, in which he will presumably be recreating some of Jackson's most iconic videos from the 80s. And of course, Dominic Sena would give us maybe the dumbest movie ever made. The 2001 hacker action movie Swordfish. A movie so profoundly stupid, but also so convinced of its own awesomeness that I have genuinely been debating making a video about it for years. Is that something that you guys want to see? Even non-propaganda directors successfully made the jump to movies. F. Gary Gray went from doing Ice Cube music videos, then to a movie written by and starring Ice Cube, and 20 years later, a movie starring Ice Cube's son as Ice Cube. Charles Stone III, one of the earliest major hip-hop video directors, would go on to make the modern classic teen movie Drumline. But to be clear, not every director would make a smooth transition. Paul Hunter, director of huge videos like Hypnotize, Untitled How Does It Feel, and of course, Wild Wild West, made his debut with the 2003 action comedy Bulletproof Monk, which, despite a dope-ass title, was a critical and commercial flop, and Hunter never made a movie again. Joseph Kahn, director of some of the biggest pop videos of the 90s and 2000s, like Everybody Backstreet's Back, Toxic, and the masterpiece, that is Thong Song, went on to direct the 2004 action movie Torque. It was sold as Fast and Furious but with motorcycles, and that's what the studio wanted. But what Kahn made was something much stranger, a sort of gonzo, self-aware live-action anime. The movie, which to be clear I think is good, was a flop. And since then, Kahn has made 3 more feature films, but all of them have been produced and financed independently. Okay, and then there's Hype Williams, maybe the biggest director of hip-hop videos ever. So this style? That's him. His resume is crazy, everything from California Love to Big Pimpin' to No Scrubs. And in 1998, he made his film debut with Belly, a stylized crime drama that he wrote and directed starring DMX and Nas. And Belly? Belly rocks. It is absolutely a vibes movie. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen. I don't always understand what's going on, but the thing is mesmerizing. It is the work of a true artist. And unfortunately, that artist was way ahead of his time. It was another critical and commercial flop, and tragically, Williams has never made a movie again. The closest he came was being attached to an earlier version of Speed Racer, and as much as I obviously love the Wachowskis' film, this is a fascinating what-if. The 90s were full of video directors making slick, often cool, sometimes very dumb action movies, but around the turn of the millennium, they got prestigious. Spike Jonze and Michel Gondry, both working with screenwriter Charlie Kaufman, made hugely acclaimed Oscar-winning films that combined their inventive visual sense with real storytelling ability. Talking about the propaganda era, Fincher said, quote, "Music videos was the most terrific sandbox where I could try anything. Right now, I am living in a very different era. I do not have big-budget music videos as my sandbox to experiment and learn and grow. Instead, I've got these video essays, where there is no requirement that they actually look good or interesting. So, I needlessly create reasons to do shit like this. Why does this part look like the Sabotage video? Why am I wearing a wig and a mustache? Honestly, I don't even really know. Just to keep myself entertained. No one is hiring me to make movies based on these videos, and yet I keep doing it. Okay, I gotta peel this mustache off and go get changed for the next part. So, see you soon. Propaganda collapsed around the turn of the century. They were sold first to Universal, then USA Films, and they managed to hang on just long enough to produce Spike Jonze's second film, Adaptation, but then folded in 2001 before the movie was even released. The end of propaganda wasn't the cause, but it did directly coincide with the end of the golden age of music videos. Videos, no matter how ambitious and artistic, had always essentially been promotional material for the music industry, designed to play primarily on MTV. And then this little worldwide information sharing network came along and kind of changed everything. I'm forgetting what it was called again. On that information sharing network, Napster and other file sharing platforms immediately led to a cratering of record sales that never recovered. Suddenly, albums weren't making the money they used to, and so record companies couldn't justify spending the same amount of money on promotional materials like music videos. They used to spend $2 million to put the Backstreet Boys on a starship. But in the new era, when Nicki Minaj writes an entire song about starships, they can only afford for her to stand on a beach and look at it from a distance. And so video budgets dropped steeply. Paul Hunter once described having $900,000 to make a 5-minute video as, quote, not a huge budget. He did not know how good he had it. Within 10 to 15 years, the budget for a major label video from an established artist would plummet to around $75,000, and as time went on, often even less. At the same time, MTV's programming was undergoing a major shift. Since audiences could get plenty of music news and entertainment on the internet, that's what it's called, there wasn't the same demand for it on TV. So the channel continued a shift that had already been going on far more into reality programming. Soon, what had once been the primary platform for music videos was barely playing music videos at all anymore. You'd pop on MTV hoping to catch the latest My Chemical Romance video, and instead, you'd find Punk'd, Laguna Beach, My Super Sweet 16, Engaged and Underage, Teen Mom, or Jersey Shore. There's a great video by Brian and Maria about a fictional MTV executive explaining this change that sums it up perfectly.
But music videos were only worth making if they had actual promotional power behind them. And the game has changed. Your generation, not the one before you, not the one after you, your generation decided to steal music. And music videos are more worthless than ever before.
Okay, so if not MTV, where were people actually going to watch music videos? Well, on this new website that popped up in the mid-2000s, where you're probably watching this video right now. Unless you're watching it on Nebula, where you can watch it weeks earlier and with no ads, which, you know, we love to see. YouTube, which for years was limited to videos under 10 minutes, was the perfect place for music videos. This was an era when YouTube was less about long-form video podcasts hosted by celebrities and more about wacky viral videos like the Bed Intruder guy or the Grape Stomp Lady. And of course, the music video for Here It Goes Again by OK Go. You know, the treadmill dancing one that looks a lot like this? The band produced it without the record label's knowledge, proudly saying in interviews that it cost $5, the cost of the mini DV tape they shot it on. Although, I would like to ask OK Go where they found a rent-free space with 8 fucking treadmills in it, because this is the only one that I could find, and it has 1 treadmill and is costing me $95 an hour. Yes, I'm spending more on a video essay than a successful band did on one of the most famous music videos of all time. And yes, I do know how dumb that is. As Maura Edmond wrote in her piece, Here We Go Again, Music Videos After YouTube, Here It Goes Again is a viral video as much as it is a music video. It had the low production values of any other video produced and uploaded by amateurs on YouTube. You can imagine people watching it and just assuming it's some fans making a dance to a song they like, which eventually there would be an entire platform dedicated to. Music videos were once big-budget television, and now they had just become YouTube videos, existing alongside Smosh and Ray William Johnson. The form may have been democratized, but it was also devalued. Directors weren't making pieces that would receive splashy premieres on TV, that people would turn on MTV in the hope of catching. They were just more videos you had to actively search for among millions of others in the ocean of content. And so what happens to the music video to Hollywood pipeline? It basically dried up. Francis Lawrence and Mark Webb were the last ones to successfully make the jump, the last lifeboats off the Titanic. Because now, music video directors were basically just YouTubers, and without the videos playing on MTV, which always put the little credits boxes in the bottom left corner, videos on YouTube often didn't even credit the director, so you weren't sure who actually made the thing. Joseph Kahn smartly solved this problem by just putting huge credits blocks at the start of all his videos, so there is no question about who made this. And I will say from personal experience, the pipeline from YouTube to Hollywood still has not really been built. No one at major studios is looking at YouTube to find the next filmmaker they want to hire. If you make a popular YouTube video, maybe people will hire you to make another YouTube video. If you need a good example of this, look at Iron Lung, the recent movie written and directed by Mark Fishbach, aka Markiplier. The guy has 38 million subscribers, a fucking enormous audience. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that number. Surely this is the same built-in audience metric that studios desperately look for when picking IPs to adapt. But no, for some reason, it's different when it's a YouTube audience. Also, by the way, I don't need 38 million subscribers, I'm not greedy, but it would be really cool to get this channel to 1 million, so tell your friends. Anyway, despite the size of an audience, he still couldn't get a studio to fund his movie. So the guy had to self-fund it for $4 million. That is how little respect the industry has for YouTube. And the movie ended up making $52 million. So who knows? Maybe this Markiplier guy is paving the way for the rest of us YouTubers. And on that note, folks, I am excited to announce my self-funded film adaptation of Roblox. I'm just kidding, I still don't know what Roblox is. In the early 2000s, Palm Pictures released the Director's Label DVD series, collecting the work of many of the premier music video directors like Mark Romanek, Chris Cunningham, or Michel Gondry. These weren't intended this way, but they marked the end of an era. Nothing like these has been made since, and no music video directors in the intervening 20 years have made the names for themselves in the medium that these guys did. Dave Meyers, one of the most prolific video directors of the last 25 years, tells a story about meeting Gus Van Sant in the 90s after he graduated film school. Van Sant's advice was to get into music videos, since those were a pathway to feature films. As it turns out, that would soon change. Meyers, other than one Hollywood detour to make the 2007 remake of The Hitcher, has remained in the music video world to this day. And despite everything I've been saying here, I still actually want to make music videos. I know they're not a path to Hollywood anymore, and it's really not a smart career move, I just like them. Last fall, my friends Chloe and Lily in the group Sybil asked me to make a music video for them, with no budget and barely any time to shoot. But I was excited to do it just because I wanted any opportunity to make a music video. Because I love this form and I think there's something special about it. Also, ironically, one of the few video directors of this era to actually make the jump to feature film successfully was Trish Tsai, the director of Here It Goes Again and several other OK Go videos. She went on to make the 5th and final Step Up movie as well as Pitch Perfect 3. So good for her. Okay. Okay, let's take a step back and ask, what is the point of music videos? Unlike cinema, an extension of photography that uses moving images to tell stories, music videos were created simply to promote songs on TV shows. From the very start, music videos were essentially commercials. And sure, plenty of commercials transcend their original purpose and can be considered works of art. See Jonathan Glazer's Guinness commercial, one of the most incredible things ever made. But are music videos even more than that? Sarah Boardman, head of music at Pulse Films, writes, "There's no other short-form medium that has the ability to reach millions and millions of viewers like a music video. Short films typically don't get the same reach as music videos, and they often need to be self-funded, whereas a music video has a bit of money behind it." A couple months ago, when I was watching David Ehrlich's annual video counting down the best movies of the past year, which as always was a gorgeous, thrilling montage of great movies set to a collection of songs, I had this thought that maybe the greatest thing that cinema can do is the simple combination of visual movement with music. This fusion of audio and hypervisual imagery is, in its purest form, exactly what music videos are. They originate as a piece of music and then become a visual expression and accompaniment to it. And freed from the constrictions of a larger film and the demands of that narrative, they can be anything. They don't need to make sense or adhere to any logic, they just need to feel right. Music videos, I would argue, can be divided into two categories. Number one, videos with the artist featured, and number two, videos with the artist unseen. The former is in some sense a commercial for the artist, as it contributes to their larger brand and is in conversation with their past work and their past looks. The video is built around their persona, but it also uses the inherent power of that persona to elevate it. Basically, like a movie star. The latter is a blank slate. It can be literally anything. Like Spike Jonze's video for Electrobank by the Chemical Brothers, which is a short film starring Sofia Coppola as a woman competing in a rhythmic gymnastics tournament in which her routine is set to the titular song. Or Jones's video for Praise You by Fatboy Slim, shot on VHS in the form of a home video of a community dance group performance. Back in the time when music videos actually mattered culturally, it's exciting to think that hundreds of thousands or even millions of people were excited about an abstract short film made by a great artist, like Glazer's video for Virtual Insanity. Outside of Swifties parsing the lyrics of every new Taylor Swift album, how often does your average person actually engage in art analysis? But music videos regularly brought strange, fascinating works of art into regular households that would never watch something like that if it didn't happen to be wrapped around a Madonna song. Also, to be clear, even though I'm talking about a lot of fancy pants artistic videos here, there are countless incredible videos that are not especially deep, such as Thong Song, a masterpiece which, in my opinion, should be on permanent display in the MoMA. And now, it's getting kind of bright in here. I'm gonna move on. Hey folks, quick disclaimer about this part. So I took a while setting up the lighting, trying to get it right, and I ran out of time to learn the single ladies dance like I wanted to for this section. I'm sorry. That's on me. I will do better, but I will say, just wait for our big finale coming up soon. It's gonna be worth it. So, obviously, music videos still exist. Arguably, more are made now than ever before, but they exist almost entirely as YouTube videos, or as the looping video background that shows up when you play some songs on Spotify. YouTube is statistically the biggest platform worldwide for listening to music, which makes you wonder if audiences are primarily using YouTube just to put on songs they want to listen to and disregarding the videos that happen to be playing. So, for a rough case study, looking at Ariana Grande's YouTube channel, the music video for Thank You Next has 873 million views. It's a lot. While the lyric video for the same song, essentially just the song playing with lyrics appearing on screen, has 393 million views. So people are interested in the music video, but there is a sizable audience there that does not care about it. They just want to hear the song and learn the lyrics, I guess. Back in the 90s, MTV refused to allow product placement in music videos. But in this weird new era, product placement is now basically the only way a lot of videos get funded at all. This is why so many videos in the 2000s have these egregious insert shots of a Virgin mobile phone, or a Beats laptop, or plentyoffish.com, or a Diet Coke can, or a Polaroid camera, or Wonder Bread, or Miracle Whip, and actually it turns out all of those are literally in the same video for Telephone by Lady Gaga, which, to be clear, is an excellent video. According to director Dave Meyers, his video for Firework by Katy Perry was entirely funded by Deutsche Telekom. As we know, cultural impact is always a weird, frustrating thing to talk about, since it usually falls back on anecdotal evidence. Oh, I never hear people talk about the specific characters in Avatar, so therefore that movie has no cultural impact. Shut up. But as hard as this thing is to quantify, I do want to ask, what music videos have actually had cultural impact in the last 15 years or so? Like, aside from Gangnam Style, which was essentially a meme. I would argue several Taylor Swift videos count, like Blank Space, Look What You Made Me Do, or Bad Blood. And look, as we have discussed on this channel before, Swift has been directing all of her music videos since 2019 and has really grown as a filmmaker. So, if she ever actually gets around to making that feature film that she announced years ago, that would make her the biggest music video director turned movie director in years. So come on, Taylor. We're waiting. But yeah, of course, obviously her videos are going to make an impact. She is the biggest musical artist on earth, everything she does gets attention, and she's also the only person willing to spend millions of dollars to make huge 90s style music videos. What about everyone else? For several decades, we could be guaranteed to get a music video for every officially released major label pop single. But that's not the case anymore. Beyoncé, who has been making iconic music videos for over 25 years, including one that was famously called one of the best videos of all time, has transitioned away from the traditional music video. After her 2013 surprise-released self-titled album featured a music video for literally every song, for her following albums, Lemonade and Black is King, she made what she called visual albums. Essentially, a series of music videos woven together into a feature-length art film. But with her two latest albums, she just hasn't bothered with music videos at all. Beyoncé literally hasn't released a regular music video in 5 years. And honestly, why does she need to? Will a 4-minute YouTube video really do anything to expand the reach of albums that already have near universal awareness? Few artists have ever had the mastery of imagery that Beyoncé does. So if she isn't bothering to make music videos, what does that say about the relevance of the medium? Often these days, music will explode in popularity not because of any officially produced music video, but because of an organic fan-made trend on a place like TikTok. Like last year, a song that Charli XCX had released in 2020 suddenly went viral on TikTok. And so Charli decided to embrace it, and she made a video for a 5-year-old song that had never had one before. So what even are music videos anymore? They're not necessary, but they can be like a cool bonus thing you make for the fans. There have been lots of great videos made recently, even just in the past year, like Berghain by Rosalia, Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter, or The Subway by Chappell Roan. All of them clearly made by extremely talented filmmakers that I would like to see more work from. But there's no sign of any of these directors moving into movies. So are videos now just their own insular world, closed off from other forms of cinema? And, sorry, one sec, I gotta take this. Hello? Yes, yes, this is Patrick. Are you calling about the police car? So the idea here is we're making like an homage to the Formation music video. Okay, ladies, now let's get in formation. That one? What we need for this is to have a car, ideally a police car, mostly submerged in water, and then I'll be sitting on top of the car. Oh. All right, well, thank you for calling. Okay, have a good day. Hey folks, so some unfortunate news. The thing that I had planned for the big finale for this episode, I was really excited about it. Wanted to go big on our season premiere, you know, do something that'll make the video go viral. And yeah, that's not happening. I was told that it is, quote, impossible and a dumb fucking idea. So, I guess we won't be doing that. And instead, I'm gonna figure out something that is simpler and can be pulled together on short notice. So, we'll be right back. Okay, so look, this isn't as fancy and cool as I wanted for the big finish, but you all recognize this one, right? It's, you know, pretty iconic. So listen, it's been 7 hours and 15 days, plus like 20 years since music videos really mattered. They will continue to exist. I'm sure great ones will continue to get made, but I can't imagine a future where they ever have the cultural relevance that they once did. But look, enough eulogizing this wonderful, verging on irrelevant art form. The question we want to answer is, what does this mean for movies? Well, most of what we've been discussing today has been the classic pipeline for filmmakers. You make your name in the music video world, then you move on to movies. And this pipeline brought us everything from Highlander, to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to Zodiac, to Birth, to Drumline, to the second Hunger Games movie, to the third and fourth Hunger Games movies, to Little Miss Sunshine, to Never Let Me Go, to The Fall, to the Equalizer trilogy, which I keep hearing that I really need to get into. And yeah, I will admit some of these directors kinda whiffed it when they tried to make the jump. Like Samuel Bayer. He made these iconic videos like Smells Like Teen Spirit and American Idiot and No Rain, you know, the one with the dancing girl in the bee costume. They're great videos. And then he finally makes a movie, and it's the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Just a huge bummer all around. But yeah, even if Bayer didn't work out, a bunch of these other directors really did. I think that even with the democratization of art and distribution and technology that the internet and modern filmmaking equipment has brought us, there is still a lot of exciting talent that just isn't getting the same chances to break through because of the modern state of music videos. Plenty of people, including me, have commented on a degrading in the average aesthetic quality of movies over the last 25 years or so. Like, yes, plenty of movies these days look incredible, but I think that the average movie looks worse than it did in the 90s. You can chart this up to several factors: the impact of digital cinema cameras, and color grading and LED lighting, the streaming movie pipeline, but I do think an additional factor that is worth considering is the lack of music video directors making movies. There was a time when studios looking to hire a director for a major tentpole franchise movie would look to visual stylists, people with really striking work in music videos and commercials. This is how we got Gore Verbinski, or Alex Proyas, or Francis Lawrence, or look, say what you will about him, but Zack Snyder as well. Why are we letting Sean Levy make these movies when we used to at least have people who could make shit look cool? Come on. And before you jump in and say, actually, I think it's better for directors to get their start making indie movies because it means they have strong storytelling skills, not just flashy visuals. Well, Mr. Strawman, the golden age of music videos in the 90s, when we got all those directors, happened concurrently with the Sundance indie boom of the 90s that gave us everyone from Soderbergh to Linklater to Paul Thomas Anderson. There was a time when we had both. We did not know how good we had it. Now, I would argue that the two music videos that attracted the most attention and acclaim in the last decade are This Is America by Childish Gambino, directed by Hiro Murai, and Formation by Beyoncé, directed by Melina Matsoukas. Even just on YouTube, these had a cultural impact like no videos had in years or really have since. These were videos from major artists that were explicitly political, that sparked conversations and think pieces and a lot of now probably insufferable social media posts, that were full of immediately striking, loaded visuals, like Donald Glover casually executing people with a gun, or Beyoncé lounging on a police car submerged in flooded waters. These were major statements from the artists, but also the directors. Both Murai and Matsoukas display technical mastery here, as well as an understanding of iconography, storytelling, and how to create genuinely subversive pop entertainment. Both directors had done great work before, especially Matsoukas' video for We Found Love by Rihanna, and Murai's video for Never Catch Me by Flying Lotus. But these two videos specifically were both creative leaps forward that reached audiences of hundreds of millions of viewers. So logically, these videos would catapult these filmmakers to major feature film directors, right? Right? No. Each of them has made one feature film. Matsoukas made the 2019 romantic crime drama Queen and Slim, which was a moderate success, but she has not directed a movie since then. Murai made Guava Island, another collaboration with Donald Glover, that is barely a feature film. It's only 56 minutes long and was released to Amazon Prime Video. I'm willing to bet a lot of you watching are not aware this exists. Now, I do of course have to point out that both of them have worked extensively in TV. Matsoukas directed the first episodes of Insecure and The Changeling, as well as episodes of Master of None. Murai directed the first episodes of Station 11 and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and his major TV work is the show Atlanta, on which he directed the majority of the episodes. Look, there is incredible filmmaking on television, and I don't in any way want to make it seem like these directors are slumming it, are slacking off by working on some genuinely great shows. But in all of these cases, Mirai and Matsoukas are not the creators, are the main creative vision behind the shows. And I want to see what these guys can really do when they're the boss. Now obviously, please stop yelling at the screen, the one big exception to this rule are Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, aka Daniels, the writer-directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once. They started in music videos, made the masterpiece that is the video for Turn Down for What. Then they made the jump to movies, and they did what no music video director has ever done before. They won the Oscars for Best Picture and Best Director. These guys are an anomaly, especially now. But 30 years ago, this kind of thing was happening all the time. 30 years ago, I'm sure we would have multiple studio films from Melina Matsoukas and Hiro Murai. But this isn't how it works anymore. Music videos are a wonderful art form, dying a slow death and fading into irrelevance. I really hate to be yet another guy going, things used to be better in the old days. But honestly, in a lot of ways, they kinda did. I don't want to watch a teenager doing a dance on TikTok to a pop song. I want to see a music video for that song that cost millions of dollars, where the artist is surrounded by like a fleet of helicopters and they rip their skin off or some shit like that. But that era is never coming back. And now, if you ask me, it's all a bunch of virtual insanity. So, in the meantime, until a pipeline manifests for humble YouTubers like myself to make the jump to feature films, I'll just be here. Wait. Shit, I forgot to talk about McG. McG, you guys all know McG. You know, he did all those Smash Mouth videos in the 90s, like All Star. Remember Pretty Fly for a White Guy? He did that one too. And then he made Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle and other films. Fuck, I talked about like every other director and I forgot McG. I'm so mad right now. This sucks. New season's off to a rough start, guys. Sorry about that. Hello from the set of our next episode. One thing that I wanted to mention is one of the major music video directors turned movie directors is Tarsem Singh. He made the iconic video for REM's Losing My Religion, and then went on to make the bugnut surreal thriller The Cell. You know, the one where Jennifer Lopez goes inside a serial killer's mind, and it is crazy in there. But probably his most important movie is The Fall, one of the most beautiful looking movies ever made. A movie that he self-financed and shot for years all around the world, with a cast led by Lee Pace wearing incredible outfits. The Fall had been out of print and unavailable to watch anywhere for years. Like literally, the Blu-ray cost hundreds of dollars, until it was restored and re-released last year by MUBI, our sponsor for this episode. MUBI is a wonderful streaming service with an incredible selection of movies from around the world. Instead of being run by algorithms who want you to watch the same slop over and over, it is actually hand-curated by movie lovers, so you always know you can find something great. MUBI is the only place you can watch The Fall, but right now there are so many other movies there that I would recommend as well. Like Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love from last year with Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, Jim Jarmusch's new movie, Father, Mother, Sister, Brother with Cate Blanchett and Adam Driver. They have classics like Raging Bull, Showgirls, and Moonstruck. I mean, right now they have all of Twin Peaks, so if you haven't watched Twin Peaks, now is a great time. And very importantly, they have multiple winners from this year's Veto Awards, like Grand Theft Hamlet and The Mastermind, featuring Josh O'Connor wearing a ton of fantastic sweaters. Look, I could do this all day. MUBI has so many movies that I love, and also so many that I haven't seen but really want to watch. If this sounds cool to you, you can get 30 days of MUBI for free by going to mubi.com/Patrick H. Willems. That's mubi.com/Patrick H. Willems, or clicking the link in the description. Look, I am a MUBI subscriber. I think it's a fantastic service, so you've got my genuine recommendation. Again, mubi.com/Patrick H. Willems to get a whole month of great cinema for free. That's all. Thank you for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamiroquai.
Hello, thank you for watching and welcome to the new season of the show. I'm really excited about all the stuff we've got coming up. I'm really excited about this episode. We had a lot of fun making it, and I think it's gonna be a really good year. So one thing that I wanted to tell you about, if you're not already aware, we recently launched our new weekly after show. It's called Post Credits because like right now the credits are rolling, and so this is what you watch after the credits. So that's available on our Patreon, and there, you can send in any questions you've got about this episode, such as why we left out certain things, did we forget certain directors? A lot of the questions are usually about that. But yeah, send in any questions you've got, and I will respond to everything and tell you all about the decisions we made, and just, if you want the expanded version of the experience, check that out. And yes, for all you Nebula subscribers, Post Credits is on Nebula as well. Do not worry. And so yeah, go check that out if you'd like. And I'm gonna get back to work on the next episode, which is about dinosaur movies. Bye.